1. When designing instructional material for adult learners at the Justice Institute of British Columbia, JIBC, the instructor's primary focus should be on A. Memorization of procedures. B. Practical application and problem solving. C. Rote recall of policies. D. Passive listening and observation. 2. Which of the following best demonstrates formative evaluation during a JIBC training session? A. Administering the final exam. B. Assigning a graded term paper. C. Providing immediate feedback after a role-play scenario. D. Publishing course completion rates. 3. A JIBC faculty member is tasked with revising a course curriculum to reflect new provincial safety regulations. Which principles should guide this process? A. Maintain traditional teaching approaches. B. Prioritize learner convenience over compliance. C. Integrate regulatory updates into learning outcomes. D. Delay changes until the next accreditation cycle. 4. An instructor uses scenario-based simulations in the classroom to reflect real-world emergency responses. This method primarily supports A. Passive learning. B. Andragogy. C. Rote memorization. D. Lecture-based knowledge transfer. 5. In adult learning, motivation is best enhanced when learners A. Receive clear extrinsic rewards only. B. See direct relevance of content to their roles. C. Are pressured with strict deadlines. D. Memorize content without questioning. 6. A JIBC evaluator designs a rubric for student assessment. The rubric must A. Emphasize vague descriptors. B. Align with course learning objectives. C. Be kept confidential from learners. D. Focus solely on attendance. 7. A mentor in the JIBC Paramedic program notices a student struggling with communication during patient simulations. The mentor's best approach is to A. Ignore the issue until the final evaluation. B. Provide constructive feedback and modeling. C. Publicly criticize the student's performance. D. Suggest withdrawal from the course. 8. Which of the following best illustrates summative evaluation in JIBC programs? A. Peer-to-peer discussions. B. Final certification examination. C. Instructor midterm feedback. D. Self-assessment journaling. 9. Curriculum development at JIBC must include which of the following elements for compliance with accreditation standards? A. Alignment with institutional mission and provincial mandates. B. Elimination of reflective practice components. C. Exclusive reliance on standardized exams. D. Avoidance of community stakeholder input. 10. In teaching adult learners at JIBC, which instructional strategy best promotes critical thinking? A. Providing multiple-choice quizzes only. B. Encouraging analysis of complex case studies. C. Limiting questions during lectures. D. Requiring verbatim repetition of materials. 11. An instructor designs a blended learning module combining online theory and in-person simulations. This approach primarily enhances A. Knowledge transfer and practical skill development. E. Memorization of isolated facts. C. Reduction in student accountability. D. Elimination of learner collaboration. 12. Mentorship in the JIBC context is most effective when A. Feedback is sporadic and unstructured. B. Goals are clearly established and progress monitored. C. Criticism is the central tool. D. The mentor maintains distance from the learner. 13. Which of the following is a key ethical responsibility of a JIBC instructor during evaluations? A. Ensuring objectivity and fairness. B. Favoring high-performing students. C. Ignoring institutional guidelines. D. Publicly disclosing student grades. 14. When revising a training program, the first step in curriculum development is to A. Write test questions. B. Conduct a needs assessment. C. Assign group facilitators. D. Print course manuals. 15. Adult learners at JIBC are more likely to engage when A. Content reflects their lived experiences. B. Lectures dominate without interaction. C. Assignments are generic and disconnected. D. Assessments focus exclusively on theory. 16. An evaluator at JIBC uses pre-tests and post-tests to measure student progress. This reflects A. Diagnostic and summative assessment. B. Summative and formative assessment. C. Diagnostic and formative assessment. D. Criterion referenced only. 17. A student demonstrates strong theoretical knowledge but poor application in simulations. Which strategy best addresses this gap? A. Increase written assignments. B. Provide experiential learning opportunities. C. Eliminate simulations. D. Focus solely on lecture delivery. 18. The primary role of communication in JIBC instruction is to A. Convey information unidirectionally. B. Foster dialogue and feedback. C. Reduce learner involvement. D. Replace practical training. 19. In adult learning theory, self-directedness refers to A. Complete independence from instructors. B. Learners taking responsibility for their learning. C. Relying exclusively on peer mentoring. D. Avoiding structured activities. 20. Which best reflects a competency-based evaluation method at JIBC? A. Measuring hours of instruction. E. Assessing demonstrated skills against standards. C. Recording classroom attendance. D. Assigning participation points only. 21. An instructor integrates reflective journals into the curriculum. This approach best supports A. Surface-level memorization. B. Deep learning and self-assessment. C. Passive absorption of content. D. Regulatory avoidance. 22. A compliance audit requires JIBC instructors to document course outcomes. The most appropriate document would be A. Informal student notes. E. Peer-to-peer feedback transcripts. C. Program evaluation reports. D. Instructors' personal observations only. 23. Mentoring effectiveness is maximized when mentors A. Set realistic goals with mentees. B. Provide feedback only at the end. C. Avoid addressing challenges. D. Focus only on personal anecdotes. 24. The use of standardized checklists in simulation assessments ensures A. Consistency and fairness. E. Subjective interpretation. C. Elimination of accountability. D. Avoidance of accreditation standards. 25. Which instructional method best engages diverse learning styles among adult learners? A. Solely lecture-based delivery. B. Incorporation of visual, auditory, and kinesthetic strategies. C. Elimination of collaborative tasks. D. Exclusive reliance on reading assignments. 26. In the context of evaluation, validity refers to the consistency of scores. B. The alignment of assessments with intended outcomes. C. The speed of test administration. D. The fairness of grading. 27. A JIBC faculty member develops a peer feedback activity. The key benefit is A. Encouraging collaborative reflection. B. Reducing instructor workload exclusively. C. Eliminating self-responsibility. D. Focusing solely on summative measures. 28. When instructors at JIBC design curricula with measurable outcomes, they are: A. Ensuring accountability and effectiveness. B. Avoiding institutional guidelines. C. Encouraging passive learning. D. Reducing transparency. 29. A common barrier to adult learning in JIBC programs is: A. Relevance of content. B. Prior life experience. C. Lack of learner motivation. D. Structured reflection. 30. Effective communication during high-stress training scenarios requires instructors to: A. Give vague directions. B. Use clear, concise, and calm language. C. Increase complexity unnecessarily. D. Avoid feedback. 31. Regulatory compliance in JIBC program design requires: A. Adherence to provincial and institutional standards. B. Flexibility that disregards oversight. C. Avoiding documentation. D. Eliminating alignment with external bodies. 32. A JIBC instructor provides immediate, constructive feedback during a drill. This is an example of: A. Summative evaluation. E. Formative evaluation. C. Norm-referenced assessment. D. Standardized testing. 33. When mentoring, the practice of modeling effective behaviors for learners is known as: A. Directive lecturing. B. Role modeling. C. Summative coaching. D. Informal monitoring.